Calligraphus is the automatic transcript generator and editing platform from VoiceInteraction. Based on proprietary technology, this software generates full-text transcriptions from any media asset. Afterwards, assisted by an integrated editor dashboard, you may edit any part of the transcript at your own will. And finally, export the edited text and the audio file to a wide range of formats. Now come along for a full tour of the application. As we go along, everything will become more apparent as we familiarize you with our software. To the left side, you will find the navigation tabs of the application. As an administrator of the platform, you may also control all of the backend features under the Administration tab. The Service page, that includes all of the services available in the platform, can be accessed by clicking the Services tab. In the Administration tab, you will find the following sub-tabs: Transcriber Services, User Management, Audio Export, Model Management, Configurations Management, and Licenses. On your upper right corner, you may access and change your personal information. Here, you may update your password, as well as the app's display name, email, and company, if stated. Next up, the workspace language, which by default comes in English. When selecting a different language, every displayed text will automatically be translated to the desired language. This next button links you to a PDF file with the application's manual. A detailed description about every configuration can be found here. It will assist you with any questions that may arise about Calligraphus. And finally, the Logout button. This logs you out from the application. Now let's take a look at the new transcriber service setup. This is the first step to configure Calligraphus. First, select the transcriber service under the Administration tab. A list of created services will appear. Here, you may check the detailed information of said list, as well as editing relevant features by clicking the Edit Service button. If a service is no longer required, you may use the Remove Service button in order to delete it. If you want to create a new service, just click on the Add New Service button. A creation menu will appear. Here, you will be able to create a new transcription service configuration. With an extensive field list to go through, let us start from the top and work our way down until the Add Service button. The first row is relevant for the creation of the service name, description, and service color identifier. For the service name, pick one that represents its function, as it is going to be the service main identification tag throughout the application. The service description serves a different purpose, to display additional descriptive information about said service. The service color is self-filling by default, attributing a random color code to the service. It may be changed through the selectable color palette that is available for this purpose. The next row is dedicated to the service team setup. This is where you may choose from the list of available users which ones should be allocated to the service you are creating. Choose the user and their respective permissions and click on Add User to finalize the adding process. The list automatically updates and displays the added user and the associated role. The far end button removes the user from the list. These actions are sufficient for the basic setup. Clicking in the Add New Service will add the service to the list of available services of the Calligraphus platform. When clicking on the Advanced Options button, the downward arrow button next to Add New Service button, the administrator has access to an extended menu of more options to further customize the creating service. The advanced row begins with Service Language. This is where you may choose from a vast list of languages one that is most representative of the media assets of said service. After that, Edit Priority. This option will serve as a decider for lining up which of the services should be edited first. Starting at level 1, it will increase to any arbitrary number. The Service Folder Processor serves as a location within the Calligraphus services where media assets can be dropped for automatic processing. The System Manager will choose a base path folder, and each service will have its own dedicated folder in order to receive files. The Folder Processor is dedicated to batch file processing, where the service dashboard has an upload page dedicated to single session imports. The next two rows are dedicated related to process configuration and model selection for automatic speech recognition. First, we will take a look at the processor type. This feature may vary according to the file types that will be imported. However, it is usually set to Calligraphus recognition. Call center calls or wiretaps should be processed using the Calligraphus recognition 8K. The number of channels refers to the channels in each audio file. Each independent channel will create a recognition task, and that is why it is crucial to configure the number of expected channels to match imported files. The service asset extension serves as a link in order to know which file extensions to expect from all of the incoming files. When the import method of choice goes through the Calligraphus upload dashboard, it is our recommendation that the service extensions should be set to JSON or zip. And finally, the model's configuration. Select the language model, and acoustic model expected to be used. The service domain and subdomain can remain at their default values, with the expectation of 8K services, where the domain should be telephone and the subdomain set to call center. When all of the information is filled, a new service can be created. This creation menu will automatically close, and a newly created service will show up on the main menu list. Now let's take a look at the user management setup. This is where you may create users for the Calligraphus platform. First, select User Management under the Administration tab. A list of created users will appear where you may check their detailed info and edit relevant parts of their information by clicking on Edit User. Whenever a user is no longer part of your organization, you may click on Remove User to delete this user entry. To create a new user, click on the Create New User button. A creation menu will appear as follows. The user management wizard is simple and intuitive. First, you will need to enter the user login and password credentials. Next up, the user type. This indicates the security level attributed to said user. Administrator and user levels are the available statuses by default. To the platform's administration, the power to access the Administration tab in order to create, edit, and delete services and users. The remain actors will be assigned as regular users. Under it, you may define the user role. Administrators will be able to visualize all of the available services, edit transcripts, export files, and assign tasks to specific editors. System managers are more focused on the general management of the platform and not as privy to available services or transcript contents. Supervisors are meant to manage a team of editors. With full access to statistics and personal work evaluations, this rank is meant for the editing and appointment of tasks, not as much for exporting transcripts or media assets. Reviewers, as the name implies, will review the work produced by the editor's workforce. They function as a double safety check and are able to send transcripts back to edit mode for quality control issues. Editors are the driving force of this platform. These workers are put in charge to correct the automatic result of the speech recognition engine and to edit the transcript's output up until it is 100% aligned with what was said. Viewers may only navigate through specific services and will not be able to perform any actions. Usually, they aren't a part of the organization, and this is solely a status meant for providing temporary access to transcription or media files. In contrast, the list of services that the user is privy to are also indicated. Any user will be able to interact with the services allowed within their user role. The next field identifies the user application name that will be displayed on the upper right corner of the page. The user's email will be used as a password changing recipient and as direct contact information. When all of this descriptive information is entered, a new user shall be created. The creation menu will automatically close and a newly created user will pop up on the main menu list. Now that you're set with the basic configuration, let us get you familiarized with the service listing, only available for users with administrator or supervisor credentials. This includes a dedicated view detailing every editor's personal statistics and asset listing, complete with 3 different subtabs: available services, service stats, and export reports. Let's start by analyzing the available services subtab. At the top of the page, you will find a service selector where you may change whichever service service you want to know more about. Also, you may sort services by priority status, ascending or descending. There is an advanced search button that will arrange and display all of the available filters and search options in a single dedicated menu. For filters, you may be able to choose from service state, available languages, language groups, and show archived services, with every filter being independent and excludable. The Search Contents button will trigger a service search request. For each service request, the system will return the following information: language, media assets type, domain, and subdomain for recognition models. The service name will be featured front and center for clarity purposes. The More Info button, situated below, will open another subtab that will be dedicated to the requested service. Further down, you will find the Editor team, indicating the editors that were allocated to this specific service. Editors can be added to the lineup in the Service Details page. To conclude this description menu, you will find the Service Added Stats Summary. The number of total assets, total duration, and service state will be displayed. The service states are as following: created, as in all of the newly created services that are ready to receive media assets; importing assets, as in all of the media assets that are currently being imported with yet no editor assignment; ready to start, as in all of the media assets that were already processed and are already assigned to an editor to start the transcription phase; in progress, as in all of the transcription processes of multiple assets that have already begun but are not quite finished yet; waiting confirmation, as in all of the transcript files that were already marked as finished by the editors and are now pending confirmation from the reviewers; finished, as in all of the transcript files that were marked as finished and reviewed and that are currently set to be exported from the system. Now let's take a closer look at the menu of any service. A new page that shows even more detailed information about the chosen transcript service. At the top of the page, you will find interactive search filters placed in order to produce narrower results. Search by session ID when looking for a specific asset, search by editor when looking to assess personal statistics of any particular editor and their assigned files, and finally, search by text inside the individual transcripts. Any transcript that carries this term will then be returned during the search. The main page section is complete with two noteworthy areas. On the left side, a summary on the current progress of the service. Service description, transcription stats, processing stats, and transcription team will serve as a visual aid to better grasp the progress within the transcription service and which editors are assigned to it. The service description menu follows in the same organization already introduced in the previous page. Language, audio format, domain, and subdomain will convey a concise indication of the speech recognition process configuration. The service name is featured front and center of the menu for clarity purposes. The Set Priority button below will enable you to alter the desired priority for the transcription of the selected service. And finally, the Service Transcription Stats Summary. This pertains to the number of total assets, total duration, and service state. These values will self-update whenever adding a new audio or finishing a transcription. Next up, the Transcription Statistics menu, a visual grid that encompasses transcription states and its respective overall progress. By default, the transcripts are not allocated. This will only change when an editor selects the audio for transcription, enabling the transcript status to be allocated. Upon finishing the editing process, the editor will mark the attached audio as finished. And finally, if the review process is deferred, the set of audio tracks can be marked as confirmed if everything checks out, or as failed, returning to edit mode with consequent changes to be made. The Processing Statistics menu indicates the state of the automatic recognition tasks associated with the transcripts. Whenever the recognition process is complete, the editors will be able to allocate the new audios to their personal dashboards. Finally, the Transcription Team menu. This menu indicates which users have been selected to perform any given transcription service. Their work statistics will be displayed, functioning as a performance review visual guide. At the bottom of the menu, you may also add new users to the team and/or change the current workforce for any selected task. Now, we'll call your attention to the menu on the right side, the audio list. Every audio that will be imported onto this current service is listed here. The description information on each of the audio tracks is as follows: list position index, asset ID, editor in charge, date of import, last changed date, asset duration, and state. By clicking on Open Asset, you will be taken to the transcriber dashboard page. This overall list may also be sorted by state when clicking the Sort List button on the upper left corner of the list menu. On the bottom of the audio list, you will find a button meant for uploading new assets. Upon clicking it, a new menu will pop up. The selected service will appear on the left side, and on the right side, an input field meant for the user to identify the new session, preferably with a descriptive name. Under the upload queue, select the desired media files to process and upload them to the server. You may cancel any upload or remove already imported audios at any given time. Repeat this process for every individual session. A session might comprise single or multiple audio tracks, depending on the recording and service setup. When everything is built, just click on the Create Task button to start the processing. The menu will automatically close, and after a few seconds, when refreshing the audio list, you will find the new session available in the platform. Now, we're going to proceed with the service stats and the export reports page before introducing you to the transcriber dashboard. The Service Statistics Dashboard, a single-page view detailing the overall progress for the transcribing services. You may select a specific service or use the Advanced Search menu to further customize your analytics specifications. The Stats table conveys its descriptive information as follows: service name, service state, number of files, total duration, and asset state distribution, namely assets transcribed, allocated, available, and exported. On the bottom of the page, you will find a consolidated analytical summary for every service whose data was returned by the current search parameters. The Export Reports page is dedicated to performance review and overall statistical analysis focused on every single editor. The default analysis period is set to run through the current month. This may also be customized on the upper right side of the page, next to the user that is being reviewed. This table of contents is compiled by editor, number of files, total duration, and available options. The customized search will then return a group of editors that are under evaluation. Also, the Show Editor Assets button will detail a list of finished audios by the editor. The button Export User Assets enables a CSV file download with a complete list of assets. Each file is composed by current state, service of origin, audio ID, date of import, finishing date, and finally, the asset duration. The Export Report button on the upper right side of the page will also trigger a CSV file download with all of the contents of the performance table. The editor will also have their own dedicated dashboard focused on personal statistics, current assets in the works, and available audios to transcribe. Starting at the top of the page, the search date will be set by default for the ongoing month. Other pre-established date ranges will be available, as well as a calendar from which they can select a particular time period for both start and end dates to execute any statistics search. The editor may also filter set search by asset ID or service name. Apart from the pending asset list, all of the other menus will be altered by the search parameters. The Refresh List button will manually trigger a search request. The dashboard's main section will be split in two parts. From left to right, you will have access to the editor profile information, complete with the following information: last login, number of assets, duration, and progress summary for the active search window. Next, the transcription stats menu. Here, you will find a detailed distribution of assets by progress state. These statistics may be exported from the system using the export menu below. On the right side, there will be two different lists. The My Files list, where the editor has access to all of the assets for which they are responsible for, and under it, a list of pending audios that still needs finishing. After all the pending files are finished, a new list of available audios will pop up and the editor will be able to choose the next audio to be allocated to. When that action is performed, the asset information is updated with the editor's information and the transcriber dashboard is presented. The transcriber dashboard is a dedicated page where the editor performs the transcription process. This means correcting the automatic recognition results within a post-editing setting in order to output a faithful reproduction of what was said in the original audio track. On the left side, you will find a descriptive menu of the audio file. This menu details service of origin, audio identifier, responsible editor, date of import, last change date, duration, and transcription progress. Under it, you will find a file options menu. These options may vary depending on the type of user that logs into the transcription dashboard. Editors may only confirm transcriptions, save them, or otherwise unbind the audio, so it may be edited by other editors. At the same time, administrators will remain in full control of all of the available options. On the right side, you will find a transcription editor. On the top of the page, you will find the following options. Hide file information, which hides the left side of the page in order to maximize the editor's space. This allows for an undivided view, better suited for the transcription process full attention. Change color scheme, which changes the color scheme of the page, with text and background colors updating accordingly to either a dark or light mode. You may select which from the appointed toggle. The transcription editor functions as a visual aggregator when it comes to turns of speech. Each turn has an associated speaker. When the speaker is unknown, a representative hash will be displayed. By clicking on the hash, an Edit Speaker menu will open where you may add the respective new name. Afterwards, save it by clicking the icon or delete it by clicking on the times icon. To restart the audio in the beginning of a turn, just click on the refresh icon to the right. The turn starting time will be indicated on the far right side. Inside every single turn, there may be single or multiple segments. Each segment has both a start and ending time and an associated body of text. By clicking on the text, an editable text area will pop up. The editor is expected to correct any errors found within the automatic recognition process. When this is done, the editor will press enter in order to save the segment. A database save request will be issued and a check mark will appear next to the segment's start time when the save action is completed. When an editor finishes their corrections, they may move on to the following segment. This process will repeat itself until there are no more segments to be edited. There will be an audio player at the bottom of the page. The audio playback that is generated from it will be synchronized to match the text segments. When selecting a turn or any specific segment, the audio will automatically jump to that section's starting moment. When a segment editor section is open, the audio will loop that segment until the editor saves the newly made changes. The audio player comes equipped with the usual play, pause, and stop buttons. For a quicker navigation, you may use the following buttons to jump 5 seconds backwards or 5 seconds forwards. The next pair of buttons will change the playback speed. Use it in order to slow down or speed up any section of the segment. The player volume can also be changed through the bar toggle. The current time will be displayed first and then the total duration on the other side of the page. Also, in the middle, a progress bar, fully interactive and capable of changing the audio and the current time with a single click. When the asset transcription progress reaches 100%, it means that every segment has been edited and the editor can confirm addition in order to move to the next asset.